Hello again. It's the same day, and I'm using this really cool Cephia, I'm probably saying that totally wrong. This thing, right? This thing, because I am just fascinated with it. I got a new phone, and I've been without a cell phone for like a month, so it's kind of amazing to be back in the swing of things, back in humanity again. This feels good. I'm back in the 21st century. So this video is going to be about whether or not you should tell potential crush that you like them. And this is actually harder than it seems because human beings, we're social creatures by nature. It's built in our DNA. It's the way that we've been able to survive over the centuries and whatnot is by relying on other people. And we also, as human beings, have a tendency to fall for the people who are not either good for us or the people that we have absolutely no access to. And it happens to me. I'm laughing because I actually find the subject really amusing because when I was growing up, especially as a teenager, I was very, very, very guarded. I was very like, I don't, fuck everybody. I don't need anybody. I am just, I'm just always going to be alone and I'm fine with that. I'm cool, like whatever, like screw you. And I grew up to be the most lovesick, sappy person in the world. And it's really actually, it's funny. You have to laugh at some points. So I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should tell your crush, your little love connection that you are having the feels. Okay, so I will start with saying that I've been through this. I developed a crush, whatever you want to call it, on somebody that I'll just put it this way, was unavailable to me. This was a little while back now, not too long ago. But this person really, I don't know, they really were a really cool, really interesting person. And I just saw them a lot and I just developed feelings for them that were out of my control. And they actually it really surprised me because, I don't want to say too much without giving everything away. But I'll put it this way. When I first encountered this individual, it was just another person for a long time. There was just somebody, whatever, I had to deal with this person on almost a daily basis, I'll put it that way. And it was just kind of like, it was just whatever, just totally whatever. And then almost like literally out of nowhere, I just started to like them. And it felt like something out of some weird movie. It was weird. I just out of nowhere just started to like this person, and it caught me off guard, really, really off guard, and made me really uncomfortable because I'm not usually like that. I'm not really the type that just goes falling for anybody and everybody. But this particular individual I was very attracted to, and I couldn't even figure out why. I mean, they were very attractive, very, they were cool. This person was very cool and attractive and had a lot of qualities that I admired. So my story ended up, this person, I will say this much, this person was an authority figure. I'll put it that way. They were an authority, I can't speak. They were an authority figure, and I shouldn't have had a crush on them, but I did, and it had been a while that I was crushing on this person, and it was to the point where I actually thought that there was something mutual. So I decided to tell this person straight up how I felt about them. And this is where I'm going to talk to you guys specifically now. If you guys are having a crush on somebody who has any type of authority over you, they're your professor, they're your, pastor, they're the priest, the pope, They're your boss. Anybody who has some kind of like authority over you. I think it's very important that you guys be careful. You have to weigh the pros and cons about this. I'm just going to give kind of a stupid example. Let's say you're a nurse, you work at a hospital, and you fall in love with, like, I don't know, the doctor or something, or somebody that has authority over you. And this is a really good job that you have. You've been working there for 30 years, or maybe you're new and you just started, you're young, fresh nurse, whatever. That sounded weird. Anyway, so you have... Anyway, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself because there's some topics that just make me laugh. And I'm at the point in life where I have to laugh at something. So anyway, let's just say you're in love with a doctor or whatever. You have to be careful. This is just an example. And when I say example, I mean like this could be a million things that are happening. You have to be really careful because if you tell this individual how you feel, you can potentially get fired. There's a lot of different rules and regulations when it comes to a workplace romance, and you guys can actually get fired or suspended from your jobs. And so if you are working at a company and you're really serious about what you do and you have an attraction to your boss, first of all, and this isn't just your boss, this can be any authority figure at all, professor, especially a professor if they're married or, whatever. Anybody who has any authority over you at all, meaning they grade your papers, they decide whether or not you have a job and food on the table. Anybody at all who has any whatsoever authority over you, you have to be super careful. You have to weigh the pros and cons. First of all, and also if not just authority figures, but if they're married, especially if they're married with kids, they're in a committed relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be marriage, but they've been with their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever for, 10 years, whatnot. You have to be extremely just really cautious because first of all, I want to just tell you something. A married man or a woman is not going to leave their spouse for you. They're not going to do it. They're not. I'm sure you're wonderful. I'm sure you're gorgeous, handsome, whatever. I'm sure you're an awesome person. You are an awesome person. If you're watching this video, you're an awesome person. But they're not going to leave their spouse for you. And it's very similar to also if you're in a position where they're your professor, or they're your boss. I just want to tell you, they're not going to sacrifice their careers for you, their jobs for you. And a lot of times when we have crushes on people, we look for hints like, oh, maybe they like me too. And sometimes maybe we're right. Maybe the person actually does like us, but for whatever reason, they're not ready to be in a relationship. They're not ready to commit to a relationship with you. That could be for many, 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 many reasons. But anyway, I'm getting really off sidetrack. I want to talk about unrequited love in another video. I'm getting kind of off topic. Mainly the topic is, should I tell my crush I like them? So my advice to you would be, if you can, definitely do it. All I'm saying is that you need to be careful. You need to make sure that if it is like your boss or something, that if things get awkward or if you happen to get fired or things get really bad with this person, you can switch your job, your career, whatever, move or transfer. If you work in a company, you can transfer to another branch. Same with retail. Same with, I don't know, if you work at a college, if you're a professor yourself, you fall in love with your colleague or whatnot, whatever. The point is I think that you should tell your crush that you like them, yes, overall. But I think that, something's in my teeth, sorry. I think that you should be just a little cautious, weigh the pros and cons before you just are like, oh my God, I need to tell this person I love them, I can't wait, oh my God, we're gonna ride horses into the sunset. Just make sure that if things turn sour, because this person, they may actually be flirting with you back. Maybe they're all over you. Maybe they are very, very obvious. Maybe they're just very obviously attracted to you as well. Maybe they've even told you. Maybe they've even told you, like, hey, like, you know, I'm attracted to you. Whatever the case is. Don't go, you know, maybe you're pretty sure that they like you back. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get in trouble. So just be careful. Make sure that you do it at an appropriate time and place. And make sure, again, that if something happens, you have to think of everything. Like, for instance, I had a good friend of mine that was in love with one of her best friends. And there was like a group of friends. So there was like a bunch of friends. They were like all kind of like in a group together. And this person kind of ruined friendships with other people because the person already was dating one of their friends and it was a bad situation. You have to think about that too. Weigh the pros and cons. Like, if you're in love with your best friend, that's a situation many of you guys I know are in right now, that you're falling for your best friend. And there's a reason for that. Best friends, they're companions. They know you better than anybody else knows you. They get you. You spend a lot of time with them. Crushes easily develop on friends. I'm not immune. I have fallen for a best friend before. It's happened to me. Didn't think it would. It's happened to me. But you have to make sure that if you guys are really good friends and you can trust that, like, if you tell them this, they're not going to, like, you know, distance themselves. And you also have to make sure that if you tell this person, you're not ruining their friendship and that you can handle it if they reject you. That's another thing, is like, if you just have a slight crush on somebody and it's not a big deal, I wouldn't even bother telling them. I mean, why ruin it for yourself? Like, just, all right, they're good looking. You might as well stare at them all day and you might as well have fun. You know, sometimes crushes are fun. You get a little extra dressed up. You get a little prettied up, or, you know, whatever. It can be very motivating. You want to exercise more. You want to eat better. You want to look good. You want to present yourself well. So crushes can be actually a lot of fun. If they're not serious, I would suggest just not telling them. Just because you don't want to ruin anything. You don't want to make things awkward. You don't want to ruin friendships. You don't want to ruin professional relationships. Just have your crush, have fun, you know, and then you can have your cake and eat it too. Now, most of the time, especially if you're watching this video, most likely you have a serious crush. I'm sorry, this video is getting really long. I don't know. I always start talking and it's like 2 minutes and then I look and it's like 15 minutes long. So let me try to speed this up so you're not watching a 20-minute long video. But this is an important topic. Sometimes, you know, especially if you're watching this video, that probably means that your crush is more serious. It probably means that maybe you feel like you're falling in love with them. First of all, if you are in love with somebody unattainable, somebody married, somebody that is in a relationship, first of all, don't beat yourself up. You cannot help who you fall for. That's the first thing. I've had a crush on a professor before in my university, a very, very big crush on my professor. And I was in a relationship, a serious one myself at the time, and this person was obviously married. You know, married kids, the whole thing. I definitely had a little, I mean, it wasn't, you know, it was serious enough to the point where, like, I thought about, you know, this person a lot, but it wasn't like any really, really big deal. So obviously, you know, my professor, I didn't come out and say anything about it. But I did beat myself up. Like, oh, I'm already in a relationship, and like, oh, like this person is too. First of all, you know, you're human. You're a human being. Sometimes, even if you already are in love with somebody, you can be attracted to other people. It happens. And my crush wasn't I wasn't in love. It was just a little crush. That's all. I was in love with the person that I was dating. Definitely. But you know, people get attracted to other people. So first of all, do not beat yourself up about it. Even if they're married or whatever, it's not your fault. Now, however, it is your fault. I hate to say it like this, just don't be a bad person. And I don't want to say bad person because nobody is like, well, okay, there's some people, but you're not a bad person. But what I'm trying to say is don't behave in a way that would deem you as the way you think about yourself as such. For instance, it's not your fault who you fall in love with, but it is your fault if you're openly having some kind of affair, or you're the other woman or other man and you're cheating on somebody else and the other person's cheating on their, you know, person, their spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Then, yeah, then it is no offense, then it is your fucking fault. But But, you know, don't beat yourself up. You can't help who you fall for. Just try not to engage in anything like affairish, because that hurts other people. You have to think about other people. Sometimes it's hard. I know. I've been there. But you got to think about other people. Anyway, if you're watching this video, it probably means that you're really having a bigger attraction to somebody. And, oh my God, it's 15 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try to wrap it up. All I want to say is that the ending of my story is I, like I said, fell for somebody who I shouldn't have fallen for, who I kind of had an inkling that they may have had feelings for me, but I wasn't sure. And I told this person how I felt about them. And I did it over the internet, which made me look like a fucking stalker. You had to laugh. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this person rejected me, as I fully expected. It just wasn't anything that could have worked out for, there was a few reasons why this relationship couldn't work out. But anyway, basically, didn't work out the way that I'd wanted it to. But I was so happy that I told them, because I could walk away. They knew where they stood with me. I felt like a big weight was lifted off. And even though it didn't, my heart was a little broken for a long time. And I was a little sad and didn't, you know, I was sad. I was sad about it. But I felt better that I told them how I feel. So if you are dealing with a crush, as long as you weigh the pros and cons, make sure that you're in a position where you can either leave your job or your workplace, or, you know, transfer schools or whatnot, or transfer classes, whatever the situation is. Make sure you're in a position where if you tell this person how you feel, it's not going to ruin your whole life. That's all I wanted to say about that. And I was in a position where I actually I stopped contacting. I could actually walk away and end my contact with them completely. Just cut off ties. And that was actually healthier for me than seeing that person, because again, like if you tell the person how you feel and you get rejected, and you have to see this person all the time, number one, it's kind of awkward. Number two, it's sad. And your heart is just going to keep breaking. So my advice would be, make sure you're in a situation where if you need to, you can get out of, you know, being around this person all the time. Tell them how you feel. And I think it'll really take a big load off of your shoulders. It definitely helped with me. And you be prepared to get rejected. Even if this person you think likes you back, be prepared to get rejected. That's important. Do not expect anything, because you don't know how the other person feels, not really, and you don't know if they're ready to take any kind of step with you. You just don't know. So my advice would be to definitely tell this person how you feel if you think that you're ready, because it's gonna, I think, be more rewarding for you guys, definitely. And then you can figure out, hey, it's, you know what, it's better than going your whole life wondering what if, and it's better than like trying to like figure them out forever and like, you know, spending more and more time, like just, you know, the initial heartbreak hurts at first. You'll get over it. You really will. So I think that if you should tell your crush how you feel if you're in the position to, definitely. All I'm saying is be a little careful. Oh my God, I made a 20-minute long video about this subject, but I think it's important because I think that a lot of you guys are going through this, and I've been there more than one time, and it really helped when I told this person how I felt. I've actually had to deal with this year. I've had to deal with that a couple times. So, because I just feel like I'm falling for everybody, and I don't know. I think I'm in a vulnerable place in my life, and now you all know that. So have a good day, guys, and tell your crush you like them. You never know what can come out of it. Maybe something great, and if not, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. You'll get over it. And I'm going to make another video about unrequited love really soon. Okay. Mwah.